If you type in Norway into your Google search bar, you will witness great infrastructure amidst the scenery. On the flip side, if you type in Palestine or Ethiopia, you may witness population suffering from poverty and starvation. You can see where we fall short, why we are moving so slowly to address the climate change crisis, and what the main cause of that enormous barrier is. It is inequality. The dire warning in the most recent IPCC report on climate change indicates that it is already occurring, and that reducing CO2 emissions is the only way to stop it. Instead of giving in to hopelessness, we can draw inspirations from the evidence that a more equal world will enable us to meet this enormous challenge. Number 1. Less inequality will reduce status competition between individuals, which is a main driver of consumption, which, in turn, is a main driver of climate change. Number 2. More equal developed countries give more in overseas aid to developing countries who are experiencing the effects of climate change right now. Number 3. Levels of trust are significantly higher in more equal countries, and a high degree of trust between citizens will be essential if policies to tackle climate change are to be widely agreed and accepted across the world. Number 4. Recycling rates are higher in more equal countries as people are generally more cooperative and civic-minded. Number 5. Business leaders in more equal countries are more likely to want their governments to comply with international environmental treaties. Did you know that 2.5 billion people in traditional rural communities have formal legal ownership of only 10% of the world's land? Prior studies have demonstrated that protecting indigenous rights is the most effective way to conserve forests, especially when comparing to the creation of sizable protected areas. These neighborhoods act as a vital and affordable defense against the worst consequences of climate change. At least 25% of all carbon storage takes place on territories that are under the control of indigenous people. When the rights of these people are better protected, there is less deforestation, which increases carbon sequestration and biodiversity.
Greetings everyone, my name is Dua Zafar and I'm the fourth and final speaker of Team Pro 4 S7 that is going forward the motion addressing climate change inequity will help solve the crisis. Now, I would first like to bring to the table that New Zealand is a great and thriving nation like many first world countries, and they have recently announced that they aim to go fully sustainable in terms of energy resources, which will definitely help us fight the climate crisis. But what if we held third world nations such as Uganda and Sudan to the same standard, like we are currently doing by announcing globally the UN SDGs, and that how we propose all countries should try to meet them? It's not fair to the disbalances in GDP that each and every single country has, let alone the different problems, let alone the HDIs of each country, let alone the fact that the people that are suffering from climate change the most, they are the third world countries and they are able to afford this the least. So, team members and participants, let us look upon this. If we help solve this inequity, if we help educate populations who need them, this is how we will solve the climate change crisis. Thank you.